General Secretary Sitaram Yechury മാധ്യമങ്ങളെ കാണുകയാണ് തത്സമയം.
Against that particular officer, but his background is well known to everybody, so he's been appointed at a late night meeting by the cabinet committee, and then you have the sort of investigations that the agencies are doing, which are very, very selective. All these cases that have come up on the BJP and their leaders, from the son of the BJP president to the various scams that have come out during the last 3 years, whether it's the Lalit Modi, the Birla Sahara diary, the Panama Papers, or the Vyapam scam, or the Bihar land scam. In none of these issues there is any investigation that is begun or even ordered. But you find with a degree of vengeance and great sincerity, all the opposition leaders of various hues and cries, those sort of investigations have begun. Including, you find the attempt to silence people. The film, Mercel, that was released in Tamil Nadu, a film that is certified by the censor board. It was cleared by the censor board. And after that, the objection saying that some parts should be cut out, the pressure that is being mounted, and then the actor, that Vishal, who is an actor in the film, you have the GST, what is called the GST intelligence going in questioning him for the dialogues he said in the film. Now, if something has been cleared by the censor board, and on top of that you have this sort of a thing now, I mean, it's a clear question of persecution of political opponents. And now you have this new law that is being brought in Rajasthan, where you require public sanction to proceed against investigations on any officer or a judge. And worse is all of you are also prohibited from even reporting such issues, or reporting even the scams or any investigation. So the media is prohibited by law. I mean, this sort of a thing that is happening is something we have not heard of earlier in our country. And this is a systematic attack that is happening. The RBI, its autonomy, which is absolutely essential for the country's economy, that is being eroded. The Election Commission, for the first time, its credibility is come under a question mark. And a simple question that we had asked, for which there is no answer till date. The Election Commission said that the elections in Gujarat will be completed before the results of the Himachal election will be announced. That is, the date is fixed, 18th of December. So before 18th of December, elections are to be held, which the Election Commission itself announced. Then why is the code of conduct not being applied there? The logic is that we have not announced the schedule, therefore no code of conduct. But you announce the date before which it will be done. So you have an end point date. You have announced it yourself. So why are you not enforcing the code of conduct? Now the whole country knows why it is not being done. But this blatant sort of a misuse that is happening, I think, is undermining the very, very foundations of the constitutional order in our country. And that is a very serious matter. That they are systematically undermining this constitutional order, and all institutions that are constitutional statutory bodies are being undermined. And the latest now is on the attack on the rights of the states. They have now, an RSS affiliate has filed a case in the High Court of Kerala asking for CBI intervention in the murders that have taken place, the so-called political murders. Now, first of all, let me be clear that we have no problem at all. Let anybody investigate it. That is not the issue. But Kerala, the law and order is a state subject. That is the essence of your federal principle. If the law and order is a state subject, and if the state police is doing its job, the purpose of intervention by the CBI with the sort of a background that it has acquired now in the last 3 years, it is clear that it is again eroding states' rights to intervene and use the CBI, misuse the CBI for their political purposes. The argument that Kerala, the police is not doing its job, Mr. Rajnath Singh's Home Ministry has brought out these statistics, National Crime Records Bureau, where it states as of 2015, Kerala is the state which has the lowest rate of murders in the country. It is 0.9 compared to Uttar Pradesh of 2.2. Kerala is the state which has the highest percentage of convictions. It is in the rank of the states it's the 5th, but the first 4 are Sikkim, Arunachal Pradesh, Mizoram and Nagaland. So the major states where the rate of conviction is the highest is that in Kerala. That is 64.7% of convictions have taken place in Kerala as compared to say 50% in Uttar Pradesh. So it's not that the efficiency of the police is the issue. The issue is a clear political direction through which they want to intervene and erode on the state's rights, and this is a very serious attack on the federal structure. So we are appealing to all the non-BJP chief ministers that they should all come together to protect the center-state relations from further erosion. Earlier the demand was for further strengthening center-state relations and federalism. Now you have reached a stage where you will have to protect even what you have now from being further eroded, and this autocratic rule that is sought to be imposed can be seen in all other slogans that are being given. One nation, one election. This is something which is, according to us, when I was there in the parliament also, we said it very clearly. There is a bizarre concept. It doesn't fit in with the parliamentary democracy principles at all. First of all, you have, just understand, 52 and 57, the elections were simultaneous. Why did that difference come? Because the central government misused Article 356 and dismissed the EMS number 3 government in Kerala. And once you dismiss it and once you have an election again, that assembly term is 5 years. So that linkage breaks. And subsequently 356 has been misused a number of times in a number of other states. We were the worst, twice in Bengal, twice in Kerala. But as long as 356 exists and the central rule can be imposed, you cannot ensure a simultaneity. So if you want a simultaneous elections, let Mr. Modi declare that he is abolishing 356. And secondly, in a democracy like ours, you will have coalition governments. During the course of the 5 years, for various reasons, that coalition can break. It has happened in the past. It will surely happen again in the future. And when the government is reduced to a minority, there is no other way but to go back to the people. Now if you have the simultaneous election bit, even if it's a minority government, it will continue for 5 years. Absolutely anti-democratic. But the move that is taking place in the country, whether misuse of constitutional authorities and institutions, whether the undermining of these institutions and their credibility, like the Reserve Bank of the CBI, or the misuse of investigating agencies like the CBI, ED, etc. These are very serious issues that are changing the character of the Indian Republic away from the constitution that we have. So our appeal today, what they are doing in Kerala, trying to invoke the CBI to investigate these murders, fine. We have no, as I said, we have no problems. They invoke in Kerala the NIA on that so-called, what they call the love jihad case. And they had to be wrapped by the Supreme Court, saying if two adults have decided, that they want to live together, who are you and me to intervene or interfere? They brought in the NIA, they are using that IA, which is that act for conceit for terrorists, UAPA. That UAPA is being used against people in Kerala. UAPA was for those who are supporting or abetting terrorist activities. Ordinary investigations, UAPA is being invoked. It has been invoked in Kerala. So they want to investigate, no problem. But they are doing this by undermining your existing constitutional provisions and authorities, and this is a very serious matter. And we have decided to appeal to all the non-BJP state governments and to the chief ministers. It's time that we all come together to defend the center-state relations and the misuse of these state institutions and authorities. And we hope that the others will respond, and shortly we'll take this forward by probably trying to hold some sort of consultations and then take it on as a big campaign in the country. So that is the main issue that I wanted to talk to you. Tomorrow, the other issue, tomorrow the left parties are meeting, 6 of us, and the idea is to, apart from supporting all the struggles announced by the trade unions, the Kisan organizations, and the mass organizations and the people's movements, through a platform that they have formed called Janija, Janadhikar Jansangharsh Manch. Apart from that, the left parties will give a call tomorrow after discussions. Concretely, we'll announce tomorrow on the anniversary of the demonetization, which has completely wrecked our economy and wrecked the livelihood of crores of our people. So, protest actions on that tomorrow morning. Tomorrow, the parties will discuss that, and then we'll announce to you a program of protest actions all over the country. So, this is what I wanted to say. You would have received this booklet on Tripura, and I only repeat what I said earlier. The BJP and the Prime Minister is all prepared for a big, huge, high-voltage campaign in the small northeastern state of Tripura. In all probability, the Prime Minister will go there to campaign, saying that he will be the Chief Minister of Tripura as well. So, I mean, in spite of that, we are just telling them very clearly, the left-front government will come back in Tripura, and for the BJP, their march in northeast, which they are saying for the BJP, Tripura elections will be their Waterloo. And that is something we are very, very confident about. So these are what I just wanted to flag with all of you. Yes.
The central government has conducted a blockade for Kashmir. So how do you see it in all its dimensions regard the, perhaps a change of stance?
You see, any measure that...
it has not outlined exactly. So
yeah.
How do you see it?
Yeah. You see, first of all, any measure, any move that is taken in order to try and restore normalcy in J&K is something that we would support. Any move. But having said that, the fact is that what is the mandate given to the interlocutor, what is the framework in which he will act, that is still not known to anybody. The reason I am saying this is that there is a sense of betrayal amongst the people in J&K that this government has not implemented the promises it itself made earlier. In 2016, after a lot of pressure in the parliament, finally an all-party delegation went to Kashmir under the leadership of the Home Minister. Upon returning, the delegation met, deliberated in Delhi after meeting everybody. And some of you will recollect that I, along with some other colleagues, went and met some of the separatist leaders also. And then they were saying that, why are you meeting the separatists? So we said our point is to separate the people of Kashmir from the separatists. So in that sense, we are also separatists, the sense of separating the people from the separatists. So whatever it is, after that we came back, two promises were made. One, immediately, a political process will start of talks with all stakeholders, and through the political dialogue, we will try to come to a solution. Number two, immediate confidence building measures will be introduced. Those days it was the pellet guns that had to be removed. They said some substitute will be there. And more importantly, employment avenues for the youth of Kashmir will be created. This was in 2016. More than a year has passed and none of this have begun to be addressed at all. The people of Kashmir naturally feel a sense of complete betrayal and that alienation is deepening. Now they say that this interlocutor will talk with everybody in all the stakeholders, which I presume would mean also the separatist organizations. In which case, why did you not do it earlier? Then you say, till the violence or the disturbances stop in the Kashmir Valley, there will be no talks. We will teach the Kashmiris a lesson. The armed forces chiefs, very unprecedented, they enter the political dialogue. They give political statements. And you've taken up a very brazen thing saying that no, we'll put an end to this through the use of force. And now you talk of talks with everybody. So this flip-flop that has been going on for the last couple of years, the Modi government's Kashmir policy is a flip-flop policy. And that flip-flop policy has resulted in this sort of a situation. So, interlocutor, if he's able to get everybody onto the table and to start discussing the important issues, good. But given the background of this government and the flip-flop, we don't know whether this is the flip or the flop. So we'll have to wait and see, how this happens.
But how do you see this flip or flop, whether it's to do with the US Secretary of State's visit to India, normalization of relations?
I was waiting for you to ask the question. I didn't want to say it myself. But the fact that you asked the question, the answer is obvious, no? Why this sudden flip or the flop? Suddenly, overnight, in appointing this interlocutor? So, your guess is as good as mine, but estimation is also as good as mine. So obviously, and the US Secretary of State stopped by in Afghanistan, and I don't know if he's going to stop by in Pakistan as well. We don't know. So,
para पार्टियों की तरफ से अनाउंस किया गया है कि 8 नवंबर को काला दिवस मनाया जाएगा। तो आपको भी गिना गया है, पर आप बोल रहे हैं कि आप कल फैसला करेंगे।
हमने साफ कर दिया भाई, हम साफपंथी पार्टियां अपना अलग से हमारा कॉल देंगे। हमारा सभी वामपंथी पार्टियां इंडिविजुअली सभी ने कहा कि 8 तारीख को हम मनाएंगे काला दिवस, लेकिन सामूहिक तरीके से वामपंथी पार्टियों की बैठक कल होगी। और क्या होगा ये प्रोग्राम 8 तारीख को, वो हम कल उसकी चर्चा के बाद हम ऐलान करेंगे। और याद रखिए 9, 10, 11 3 दिन पूरे देश भर में ये जॉइंट ट्रेड यूनियन महापड़ाव का कॉल है उनका, धरना का। उसका नाम उन्होंने राजस्थान की सक्सेस के बाद, मतलब राजस्थान में और महाराष्ट्र में, शायद ये मराठी शब्द है, महापड़ाव कहते हैं, मतलब या हिंदी का ही है, मतलब सभी में चलता है कि वो घेरना, मतलब इट इज़ एक्चुअली huge dharna that encircles a certain area. And this is a joint movement minus the BMS. All national trade unions are involved in this call. So that is there on the 9th, 10th, 11th. Then towards the end of the month, the Kisan organizations, Bhumi Adhikar Andolan, they are holding a big national level. Already their jattas are all over the place in the country. So that will gain momentum by the end of by December. And if this winter session of Parliament is convened by then it will be before the Parliament. So all these struggles are going on. सबको ध्यान में रखते हुए हम लोग कल चर्चा करके ऐलान करेंगे 8 तारीख को कॉन्क्रीटली क्या होगा।
काला
Is
दिवस में
that
साथ
the reason you didn't attend the meeting yesterday? Is that the reason you didn't meet?
Well, I didn't attend the meeting because I'm no longer in Parliament.
no one from your party attended.
So the point is that the meeting was called at the leader of the opposition's chamber.
But I believe
And-
you were
and-
invited.
And I mean, normally there would have been enough notice, some other comrade of ours could have come, but Salim is involved in the Padayatras in Bengal. Karunakaran was the leader in the Lok Sabha, he is involved in the Padayatras in Kerala. So after the Kerala flip-flop, Kerala, what do you call it, not flip-flop, flop. After the Kerala flop rally of the BJP president, the LDF rally led from both the ends, by the CPI secretary of Kerala and the CPIM secretary of Kerala. That had begun 2 days ago, and that is evoking a lot of response. So that is going to be discussed. So our other MPs were involved in these activities, so that's why we were not there.
When this rally is taking part, one of the ministers indicated by the collector for land encroachment. So how are you going to deal that matter?
I'm sorry?
One of the minister in the LDF government, that is Mr. Thomas Chandi, he has been indicated for land encroachment by a report.
There is the vigilance thing going on, investigation. Don't worry, we are not going to leave anything uninvestigated. We are not like the BJP's partial choice. For us, any allegation, anything merits an investigation. They are being investigated, they will be investigated.
Mr. Yechury, yesterday's Supreme Court has observed that the national anthem, it's not necessary for people to stand in national anthem. And the court has also said to regulate the rules, tell the center to regulate the rules for it. How do you see this?
Well, I think the Supreme Court, with due respect, has taken a correct position. It said that patriotism is not something to be worn on your sleeve. And I remember at the time of the Bangladesh war, etc., for a brief period, the same rule was imposed in the cinema theatres. We were college students then. And I remember the amount of disrespect in the cinema halls that you would see when the national anthem was being played. And you see, anyway, that was a generation where there were not so many regulations. About smoking, about, going out to your toilets then, etc., etc. And cinema halls were also open spaces, so to speak. And once you buy the ticket and go. But you could see actually, by imposing something, you do not respect, has to be commanded. It cannot be demanded. And with that spirit, I think what the Supreme Court has said is, it has a lot of merit. And it's asked the government to now frame the laws to regulate. So let's see what the government does.
आपने लव जिहाद का जिक्र किया केरला में और एनआईए की जांच में आपको लगता नहीं है कि क्योंकि जे न्यूज़ की टीम गई थी उन्होंने भी बात की है लड़कियों से उसमें निकल के आया कि लड़कियों ने कहा कि डर के मारे मामले को बता नहीं पाते हैं अपनी शिकायत नहीं कर पाते हैं कई ऐसे मामले हैं जिनकी जांच होनी चाहिए वहाँ पे लव जिहाद के मामले।
देखिए साहब, बात यह है कि आपकी कानून और आपका संविधान कहता है कि आप अगर एडल्ट है और आपका म्यूचुअल कंसेंट है तो आपको शादी से कोई रोक नहीं सकता। अगर आपका ये कहना है कि हर इंटर रिलीजियस मैरिज जो है दबाव से हो रही है, ये आपका ख्याल हो सकता है, लेकिन वास्तविकता क्या है उसके आधार पर ना इन्वेस्टिगेशन होगी। इन्वेस्टिगेशन तब होगी जब कोई कंप्लेंट है। इन्वेस्टिगेशन इसलिए नहीं होगी क्योंकि मैं समझता हूँ कि वो उनके ऊपर दबाव है। हमारे इरादे पे तो इन्वेस्टिगेशन नहीं होगी ना। अगर वो दोनों में से कोई ये कंप्लेन करे कि भाई मेरे को जबरदस्ती ये करवाया जा रहा, तब ठीक है, करिए इन्वेस्टिगेशन जरूर। जब वो कह रहे हैं कि नहीं हमारी पूरी कॉन्शियस ज्ञान के आधार पर हमारी मंजूरी से ये हुआ, तब आप क्या है जबरदस्ती इन्वेस्टिगेशन करवा रहे हो। कंप्लेन जहाँ पे किया वो हो, लेकिन अभी तक हमारी जानकारी तो नहीं है कोई कंप्लेन हुआ। सिर्फ यही है कि उनका कहना है आरएसएस और बीजेपी का कि इस तरीके के दबाव है। अगर कोई कंप्लेन है जरूर उस पर इन्वेस्टिगेशन होगी। ओके,
What is the agenda of tomorrow's left party's meeting? Because last time there was an opposition was when in Patna, CPI went and CPI represented CPI. So what is the agenda?
Well, the agenda right now, tomorrow's meeting, the agenda is to give a call for protest actions against the destruction of people's livelihood that has happened through both these twin measures of demonetization and GST. Now the GST, you know how the rates are being manipulated for your electoral purposes, for political purposes. So the economic logic of the GST is totally shattered. Now which item will have what rate? Now you have a ridiculous thing that has happened today. I don't know if it's actually legally correct or not. I believe the Gujarat government has said that the small restaurants and the small eateries need not pay the GST. The GST will be paid by the state government. Now what else is this but a pre-election song that is being given? And how does the state government pay? Whose money is it? People's money. Collect from the people through taxes and you give relief to restaurant owners. All sorts of these things are happening as far as the GST is concerned. I don't think there's any scientific basis by which they announced all these rates, which were wrong in any way. The scientific basis is wrong. But they announced all these rates. These are being now changed at whims and fancy. So anyway, tomorrow's agenda is primarily that, of this protest action.
Comrade, but here is the missing link. Comrade, tomorrow's meeting, if the national perspective will left proposed protest day, would this synchronize with November 8th or will it be a different date?
No, our point was that it will be the anniversary of demonetization, which is the 8th of November.
So same, the program would be different.
At the state level, this has happened in the past as well. It has happened even when the UPA was in government. You had a national level big hartal called against the then price rise of petrol, where the BJP also gave the call on the same day. The left parties also gave the call on the same day. This is what we call in our parlance terminology, march separately, strike together. This is the famous dictum of Leon Trotsky, which Mao Zedong applied in the Chinese Revolution. Strike, march अलग करेंगे, strike साथ में करेंगे. Okay? Thank you.
Sitaram Yechury മാധ്യമങ്ങളെ കാണുകയായിരുന്നു. തത്സമയ സംപ്രേഷണമാണ് നമ്മൾ കണ്ടത്.